When we went coasting, coasting down North Street about 45-degree angle, there was family whose name was Kylie. They had a daughter who would like to hang around the boys. We were much interested in her, but her father ran a fruit for sale business. He would load up his wagon with fruits and vegetables with his horse and wagon. He would go around the streets hollering, "Fruits and vegetables for sale." When they were away in winter, we would go down their barn and take their winter horse sleigh. We would take off the shafts, and 4 of us would do coasting on the hill. One boy standing on each ski, on the back to steer and coasting down the hill. We had to watch it for horse wagon, also a few trucks. We would have to return the sleigh Sunday before supper and bolt the shafts back on again, and it put it back in the barn. So you can imagine the amount fruits and vegetables had it stored shed in. He kept shed locked all the time. We found a hole in the floor. We would climb under the building and come up through the hole in the floor. It took 3 of us, one inside, one under the building, one outside. We do bananas, apples, oranges, cherries. He had cherry trees, apple trees. We used to go down there, jump the fence, and steal the apples and cherries. He would holler at us, but he never caught us. There was also, in the same area, a feed mill. We would crawl under the floor and go into the mail and go up and down the freight elevator on the weekend when no one was around. There was a robbery at the feed mill. The man's name was Harnish. So Joe did not know anything about this, as I had a new pair of coveralls. I told Joe that I had got them at the feed mill. "Ask for Harnish," I said. So Joe rushed down to the feed mill and asked for Harnish. They called the police as they thought Joe was an accomplice. Joe was very mad at it. There was a young fellow who lived in our neighborhood. His last name was Franklin. We called him Ben. He never wanted to play ball or any other games with us. He liked to read, play checkers, play on the swings, etc. Will like what a girl would do. We used to tease him a lot. We would ask him why you got your dress on. One day, 3 of us climbed the fence to his backyard. He had swings, teeter-totter, bicycle, picnic table. So we were talking to him, asking him if he would like to learn to fight. He said yes. His father came into the back yard at this time. He said, "One at a time, boys." Young Ben beat the snot load out of the 3 of us. We didn't bother Ben anymore after this. We lived next door to a drugstore, and my brother Joe asked me to stand guard for him. "What is the occasion?" I asked. He said, "Don't worry. You'll get paid for your work." I said, "Okay." He put it up to window at the back of the drugstore. He threw out to me cartons of cigarettes, cigars, gum, comic books, and chocolate bars. The next morning, Joe was the first one into the drugstore. He wanted to buy a package of cigarettes. They told him someone broken in through the night and stole a lot of things. He was quite amazed at told Mrs. Power. He would keep his ear open and would let her in on anything he heard. She, thank you very much. On another occasion, Joe was playing cards for money at Camille Fish and Chips, house. He had won a lot of money, but they caught him cheating, for they threw him and told him not to come back playing cards again. So Joe asked me to stand guard for him again. After he told me what happened to him, I did not know that Joe was cheating, so I agreed to climb to shed roof at the back of the building, opened the window, and threw out their overcoats. There must have been 15 overcoats. This was in the middle of January. They had the police question Joe, but could not prove anything. So Joe gave the overcoats to Salvation. To the Salvation. I must tell you this. I started smoking when I was 6 years old. And it wasn't hard to get cigarettes, as we lived on the corner of North Street. It was the corner where most all of the Navy personnel would get the streetcar. They would light up a cigarette, take a few puffs, then the streetcar would come and they would throw the cigarette away. Guess who was waiting for the cigarettes at the streetcar stop? There was about 5 of us a day, and we would collect probably 60 cigarettes a day. Some we would sell, some we would smoke, and some we'd give away. My father had about 4 pipes, and all of them, was corncob pipes. And all of them was a corncob pipe. I would borrow my father's corncob pipe. And used a cigarette tobacco. And each one of us would smoke the corncob pipe. Sometimes I would forget to take it home, and my father would be searching hours for his corncob pipe. It was usually late at night, and I could not go outside. I could not go out to our clubhouse, so I would have to wait until the next day. My father would be overjoyed to find his pipe the next day. Sometimes we would dad his tobacco, which was Pico, backpipe tobacco, to find his pipe the next day. Sometimes, which was pretty powerful and would almost make you sick. My father almost, oh my God. My father also made bug beer. It was made with seeds, sugar, yeast, and the seeds would rise and fall when it was working. When the seeds stopped working, the beer was ready. So my brother Joe and I would play doctor. I would be the patient and he would be giving me my medicine, which of course was my father's beer. I, of course, would be the doctor for the next half hour and would have to administer the medicine to my brother Joe. We had to stay away from home until we sobered up. If it was at night, we would go to bed early. We had a man visit with us almost every day. So Dad would naturally blame him for drinking his beer. This man's name was Ginna Kearns. He would come up to the house with bottled rubbing alcohol and would boil the kettle, take a quart milk bottle, put in the alcohol, sugar, and boiling water. When it cooled, he would put it in small flasks, and that would be his drink until the next day. He would also go over to the 5 and 10 cent store and buy essence of flowers, costing 10 cents each. He said he never had a hangover when drinking this perfume.